Hello again, everybody. My name is Sarah, and welcome back to Happy Hoya-Days. If you are new here, welcome. If you are new to Happy Hoya-Days, this is a series that I run through the month of December where I feature one Hoya from my collection on each day. So this year, Happy Hoya-Days will run a little bit differently. Instead of trying to post every day, which got a little overwhelming last year, I will just be posting a new Hoya every other day, which will work out to about 12 or 13 Hoyas. Now, I'm sad to admit that I actually haven't counted how many new Hoyas that I've gotten, but I am pretty sure it is more than 12. So this means I may not get to every single Hoya this time around. If I'm short by one or two, maybe I'll extend it to that week between Christmas and New Year's. But without further ado, you're not here to hear me talk, you're here for the Hoyas. And today's featured Hoya, I picked a really great one for the first day. It's the Hoya species chicken farm. So if you are newer to the plant world or newer to Hoyas, that SP in the name indicates that this is a species that was discovered near somewhere. So for instance, the Monstera SP Peru means that it is a Monstera that is as of yet unnamed that was discovered in Peru. I do find that a little bit funny, as this indicates that perhaps this Hoya was discovered near a chicken farm. But either way, the name gives me a lot of joy and the leaves are just gorgeous. I will try to show you the best I can. This one is actually in leca, so I'm going to try not to dump it out, but hopefully you can see just how beautiful those leaves are. They've got kind of a little bit of a speckling to them. They also are very, I want to say misshapen is the word. They're very textured, I guess. It reminds me a little bit of a Finlaysonii, but it's definitely distinct in its appearance. So the leaves are a good medium size. They are thick like a traditional carnosa leaf, indicating that it is one that can take a little bit of drying out in between waterings. This particular Hoya is growing underneath my grow lights, which I will try to mention whenever that happens to be applicable. A little bit about the care of this plant. As you can see, I am growing this particular Hoya in leca. It took a little while for me to get it established when I first got it. It was very lightly rooted, so it took a little while to establish down into that leca. But once it started growing, it, as you can see, has put on a couple of new leaves. I believe I got this as a one-leaf cutting, and you can see it's put on a couple of new leaves since then and actually put out a nice little tendril. So it's actually growing quite well underneath my grow lights. Otherwise, I would treat the care almost exactly the same as you would any other of your thick-leafed Hoyas. So I always reference back to just the basic green carnosa. It's going to be very similar in care, although I have noticed with this particular variety, it doesn't like a lot of really direct sunlight. I think I had it sitting in a windowsill for a little while, and it did get a little bit of bleaching on the leaves. So just something to watch out for in your placement of this plant. This plant was first discovered in Borneo in 1997, and the flowers on this have a yellow outside with kind of a creamier white or yellow center. It's almost like an orange and a yellow combination. If I can find a photo that I'm allowed to use, I will try to insert it somewhere here in the frame for you guys to see. Unfortunately, if you are in love with this Hoya as I am, it is a little bit difficult to get a hold of, and you probably will be getting a hold of it in a small cutting from a private collector. That's in fact how I got mine. In fact, that's how I got mine. It's somebody that I know that actually was generous enough to sell me a cutting. Overall though, if you can get a hold of it, it's definitely one that is worth the while. I think the leaves are so unique and so interesting. Definitely one that will stand out in any collection. As always, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in a couple of days with another new Hoya.